There are a few riverside locations in London as renowned as Putney. And beside the famous bridge, neighbour to rowing clubs and football clubs alike, you'll find one of the 24 sites where the super sewer is under construction. Not only will this site connect to the main 25-kilometre long tunnel, it's also one of the 7 public spaces we'll leave behind when the Tideway project is complete. And today we're going to take a closer look. My name is Rebecca Norton and welcome to Tunnel Vision. In the 19th century, Putney covered 9 square kilometres, and as recently as the 1840s, when the College for Civil Engineers relocated here, it was still a part wooded, part agricultural village opposite Fulham, with which it was connected by a wooden bridge. The name is derived from the Anglo-Saxon Putton Hithe, meaning Putter's Landing Place. The first permanent bridge was completed in 1729 and was the second to be built over the Thames after London Bridge. So the story goes that the Prince of Wales, weary after hunting in Richmond Park, asked Sir Robert Walpole to use his influence to get a new bridge constructed. The first wooden structure lasted for 150 years and in 1886 was replaced by the stone bridge which still stands today. To the west of the bridge, you'll see our Putney Embankment site for London Super Sewer. Our main works at the site will intercept the Putney Bridge combined sewer outflow, and we've also created a temporary slipway to retain access to the river. But if you look even more closely, you'll see something else taking shape. One of 7 new public access riverside parks across the project. Let's head on to the site to find out more. Hi Ray, I'm Rebecca.
Hey Rebecca. Yeah, you got all your PPE on? Yep. Let's go and check out what's going on site.
So Ray, tell me about the Putney site. What's happening here under our feet?
The main reason we're here at Putney is because we've got a CSO outfall underneath Putney Bridge, and the main reason for our site here really is to construct tunnels and shafts that intercept that CSO and place the discharge into the main tunnel over here. The CSO discharges about 4 or 5 metres cubed per second of untreated sewage, as we kind of aware of, which is the purpose of the whole project to Tideway really. What the stage we're at now is just kind of capping everything off and leaving a very nice public realm land. Everything we've done is try to fit in with the local aesthetics of Putney, so we've sourced granite from a very similar quarry, and that's what we'll be using to kind of clad the area and make it look very nice for the public.
It doesn't look too impressive at the moment, but what's been going on under here?
So there's a huge amount of heavy civil and really difficult engineering work that's been going on here for the past sort of 4 or 5 years now. So if anybody in the local area kind of recognises that there was nothing here before. Through 2018 to 2021, we constructed a huge hydraulic structure in here where we intercept the CSO flows, basically stores it until there's enough pressure in there to release it into main tunnel A. A bit further over here you have got our shaft, which is a 42-metre deep shaft. The engineering that went into constructing it was really quite clever. I think it's the only shaft on Tideway that had like a single pass lining, being able to do that job, and that's in comparison to doing like a primary and a secondary lining.
So it's one of the smaller sites here, isn't it, Ray? So it doesn't look like it's big enough to fit a tunnel boring machine into it.
The technique that we actually used here was considered a pipe jack or pipe jacking, which is a 2.5-metre diameter a pipe jack machine. So a lot smaller than your TBMs that you've got at Carmouth Road or Kirtland Street. We've brought in basically precast pipes. You bring along a number of pipes, lay them in position, and using jacking forces kind of push them into the final position that you're located. Slowly bringing another pipe behind and then using that to push you further forward to your finished position really.
So Ray, we're down below the waterline now, and I can see here we've got this beautiful river wall. I've never seen one looking so clean and pristine before. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's so clean and pristine because it hasn't been exposed to the river yet, and it will be very soon. So you're right, so we're sitting below the water level. We've got a temporary cofferdam here which makes us work within a watertight area and has allowed us to construct our main structure, the granite river wall, the timber cladding, without being exposed to the river. So that's very good for programme. It's allowed us to work in the dry and really took quite a lot of time off of our overall length for the amount of time that it took us to actually finish the work here really. You've got timber fenders here which are in place to protect the granite river wall against any ship impact or boat impact. Very soon we'll be taking out this temporary cofferdam which will expose this granite river wall to the River Thames.
And I can see some writing on the wall here.
So that actually tells us exactly where the connection to the main tunnel sits 32 metres below, exactly on that point. There's a bit of a story behind the font here, that it's called a Dove's font, and it used to be a printing press in Hammersmith, and the two guys that owned it kind of arguing, and one of them said, well, I'm going to go and throw this font out. But actually what they've done is took over to Hammersmith Bridge one night, threw it over the river, and very recently they kind of went and reclaimed all of these casts that the font come from, and they've used it and tied it into the structure here.
So it is, in a way, the font of the Thames.
Yeah, that's right. So the factory is right on the Thames in Hammersmith. And again, yeah, so it's been thrown in there and reclaimed from the Thames as well.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So where we're standing now will eventually be flooded again.
Yeah, that's
so this will be the first time and the last time I'll ever get the chance to touch a river wall.
I think so. Yeah, without exposing yourself to the River Thames, yeah.
I feel like I want to get out of here really quickly now before it floods.
No, I think we'll be all right.
Well, thanks very much for taking the time to show us around today.
No, you're more than welcome, and it's lovely to be able to have visitors on site again.
Putney is one of 7 new public spaces Londoners will be able to enjoy when the super sewer is complete, leaving a lasting legacy for the capital. The other locations include Chelsea Embankment, Albert Embankment, Heathwall Pumping Station, Victoria Embankment, Blackfriars Bridge and King Edward Memorial Park. You've seen the writing engraved into the new river wall. The font is called Dove's type, but the story behind it is anything but peaceful. Let's hear from the man himself, Robert Green.
My name is Robert Green. My background was basically in graphic design, but I specialised in typography, but type design specifically. Emery Walker was a printer. He gave a lecture in 1888 which inspired William Morris to start the Kelmscott Press. Cobden Sanderson, who was actually a book binder originally, asked Walker to go into partnership with him. Between them, they designed a bespoke typeface called the Dove's type, although Walker and Cobden Sanderson fell out. The falling out was over who owned the typeface. Cobden Sanderson actually was the proprietor of the Dove's Press, and he decided that he didn't want Walker to have it, he didn't want Walker to print with it, he didn't want Walker to print under the name of the Dove's Press, and therefore he bequeathed the type to the River Thames. So every night around August 1916 to February 1917, he carried a box full of type every night, 3/4 of a mile from the Dove's Press across Hammersmith Bridge, and chucked it in the Thames. I read everything there was to read about the disposal of the type, and I went down to Hammersmith Bridge and I looked at the bridge. I tried to put myself in the frame of mind of Cobden Sanderson, and also having read his journals, he basically gives away around where it was. First of all, I got a mudlarker's license and I went down at low tide and had a look for myself, and I actually found 3 pieces. I felt vindicated and elated. It would have amused Cobden Sanderson that it didn't end up in Walker's hands in sham Dove's Press book. It's being carried along the Thames. So as long as I do a good job and all the fabricators do a good job, and you know, it looks like the Dove's type, but it doesn't sort of offend any of his typographic principles, and it's where it's supposed to be, on the Thames. I think you'd be very amused, actually.
We've come to the end of another episode, The Writing's on the Wall. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and join us next time on Tunnel Vision.